All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you all so much for coming on this Monday morning. I know we're a little busy. We've got a lot of traffic outside, but we have a mic, so hopefully we'll be okay as far as the sound. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm Samir Copley, President of the South Florida Muslim Federation. Thank you all for being here. I want to also recognize all of our community leaders who are here with us today. First of all, we have Christina Jump, who is Department Head at Muslim Legal Fund of America. We have Jay Shahada, who is actually our attorney and legal counsel for the South Florida Muslim Federation. We have Catherine Gianmore, also attorney and legal counsel for the South Florida Muslim Federation. We have Brother Omar Sadin from CAIR-Florida. He's a civil rights attorney at CAIR-Florida, Council of American Islamic Relations. We have Khurram Wahid, who's the chairperson of Engaged Action, and he's also a partner attorney at Wahid Yeller. We also have Sister Noha Morgani, who is the operations manager at South Florida Muslim Federation. We have Mir Hussein, who's the founder and CEO of Basma, who's a wonderful relief organization, one of the members of the Federation. We have Father Yunus Ismail, the pillar of our community. He's a board member of Friends of Humanity and also a board member of South Florida Muslim Federation. And lastly, we have Taha Qureshi, who just walked in. He's a volunteer with us at the South Florida Muslim Federation. And we have also Corey here from Engaged Florida. And Corey's the outreach specialist for Engaged Florida. Thank you so much. Thank you all for coming. We're going to get started. So we're just going to have a few remarks. I will start, and then I'll leave that to our council. And we'll take questions at the end. That sounds good. All right. So South Florida Muslim Federation, we're an umbrella organization. We've unified the community here, thanks to our Lord, and we seek to continuously empower and strengthen and serve our own as well as serve others. Our goal is to make the entire society we live in stronger. With 32 member organizations, we are now able to speak with one voice. We can tackle common problems in our community and as well as in general society, like mental health, like youth identity crisis, such as mosque security, and of course, Islamophobia, which is why we're here today. These issues affect us across the board. That's what we're here to address. One of the most impactful successes we've had since we started as a federation has been our annual conference. This conference brings together people from all different cultures and backgrounds. The conference allows families of our community to better learn our faith, get closer to God, and get closer to each other. Our kids play, we train our youth, and we discuss solutions for the world's problems, starting with our own homes, and extending ongoing issues such as the genocide in Gaza, and how we can achieve a ceasefire, which is something most Americans want. In January this year, our second conference was staged to occur at the Marriott Coral Springs Hotel, with whom we had signed a contract 6 months prior. This was a place that our community literally considered like a second home. Countless fundraisers, banquets, weddings, meetings from organizations in our community as well as individuals used to occur at that place all the time. So all the more reason the call that we received on January 5th, 7 days before our conference, was all the more shocking. The manager from the Marriott Coral Springs Hotel has informed us that our conference is canceled and they cannot be a venue for our conference. Suddenly, this place that we've had, like I said, countless events for decades from our community, they all of a sudden act like they don't know who we are. And they have to cancel our event because, and I quote, significant undesirable interest. with 1,000 attendees set to attend. And I close with this. 1,000 attendees. We have been organizing this event, as I said, for 6 months with 3 staff members and over 100 community volunteers working diligently to organize all of the logistics around this massive event with 22 guest speakers.
Yeah, we hit all the
Many from out of town. Logistics such as travel arrangements, confirming 30 sponsors to attend, 30 bazaar vendors, kids activities, and all the different session and room layouts. They created and distributed flyers and posters and spread them out throughout our communities from West Palm Beach to South Miami.
So loud.
All of this work got vanished and wiped out with one phone
I
call.
think the audio was...
From the Marriott Coral Springs manager, just 7 days before our event. So I'm going to pause there and hand it over to Jay Shahada, who is our counsel.
Yeah, hold on.
We've begun to see staggering levels of discrimination against the Muslim community. We're seeing events canceled throughout the country, and this is another example of that. The cancellation of the Marriott's cancellation of the South Florida Muslim Federation's annual conference was fueled by Islamophobia and hate-filled community leaders that believe all Muslims are terrorists. All of this began with the Middle East Forum. The Middle East Forum is an organization that is unabashedly anti-Muslim and has spewed anti-Muslim hate for decades. They met with community leaders and told them that an organization that represents all of South Florida's 200,000 Muslims is a terrorist supporting organization. And instead of looking at these anti-Muslim tropes with skepticism, the community leaders took it as a battle cry. And the mayor of the city of Parkland and the Parkland Chamber of Commerce took it upon themselves to galvanize the community to stop the Muslims from being able to gather in a public place. They gathered their supporters. They arranged multiple meetings with the Marriott to pressure them to cancel the event. They started a phone call pressure campaign, and they threatened the Marriott that if they continue with the event, they'll no longer allow them to have any of their business. With all this going on, and despite multiple meetings with these racist leaders, the Marriott refused to meet with the South Florida Muslim Federation, the party that they contracted with 6 months before. And instead of rejecting hate and racism, the Marriott instead decided to give in. And in breach of their contract, they decided to cancel the event, and their reason, I quote, is significant undesirable interest. We have a name for significant undesirable interest. It's called racism. In the United States, in 2024, we should not be seeing government leaders, community leaders, and major businesses engaging in this form of hate. But the good news is we have a legal framework to deal with this form of discrimination. And that's now what the South Florida Muslim Federation is asking for the relief that they're entitled to. I'm now going to turn it over to Christina Jump of the Muslim Legal Corporate Fund of America to discuss those legal issues.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you all for being here. My name is Christina Jump, and I am the Civil Litigation Department Head for the Legal Division within the Muslim Legal Fund of America. We are honored to this lawsuit and all of the community members that organization represents. You've heard it a couple of times here from the others. It bears repeating. Significant, undesirable interest. That's how the defendants viewed South Florida Muslim Federation. And that is how the defendants view all of the community members who comprise South Florida Muslim Federation. As a collective entity, they lumped them in together, assumed the worst, and took discriminatory actions. Coral Springs Marriott signed a contract months before the event was to happen. South Florida Muslim Federation paid in accordance with the contract and performed its side of the contract. Coral Springs Marriott did not. Coral Springs Marriott accepted money from South Florida Muslim Federation, made assurances to it in advance, then stopped all communication, and then canceled the event. Not because of threats, not because they perceived even any security or any unverified security threats or concerns or allegations, and not because of an inability on the part of the hotel or South Florida Muslim Federation to perform under the contract. They canceled the contract with such short notice for a major event because other individuals told them to, and they listened. Because all defendants grouped the numerous members who comprise South Florida Muslim Federation and grouped them all in together and labeled them all as significant, undesirable interests. Why? Because of who they are. Because of where they come from, because of what they believe. Not because of any viewpoint, but because of how they pray. Religious freedom is a foundation freedom for our country. It is the cornerstone of the formation of the United States of America. Our laws protect the right of different religions to pray differently, to believe differently, to have different faiths, and to observe the tenets of their own religion without interference, without discrimination. The actions of these defendants violates the law. Coral Springs Marriott and the rest of the defendants viewed South Florida Muslim Federation in a discriminatory way based on their perceived race, religion, national origin. That violates several federal laws and Florida state laws. Specifically, Title II of the Civil Rights Act, as it's referred to, requires places of public accommodation, like a hotel, like the Coral Springs Marriott, not to discriminate. What's referred to as Section 1981 of the Civil Rights Act prevents interference with a contractual right and with the ability to contract, to form contracts, and to follow through on them if based on race, national origin, and conspiracy to deprive any individual of their civil rights violates what's referred to as Section 1985. All defendants are guilty of violating these federal laws as well as their Florida state-level counterpart laws and causes of action. Most egregious part of this story, as you've heard, and as set forth in the complaint, which is available for your review, is that this was not done by one actor. This was not done by one bad person, one person who went rogue. This was an intentional, concerted effort between local officials, including elected officials, who participated, encouraged, and even orchestrated the discriminatory and illegal acts described in the complaint. They forgot their responsibility to the community that elected them. That includes all members of the community, and it includes all races, all national origins, and all religions. This community deserves better. We all do. Fortunately, the law requires better. This lawsuit, filed this morning with Jay Shahada and by the attorneys within the Civil Litigation Department, the Muslim Legal Fund of America, assures that there will be accountability under the law for those who violate the law. And there will be remedies for those who are injured by discriminatory actions that violate the law. I am personally honored to be a part of this. We have worked with individuals in these organizations and very impressed with the work that they do and the way that they have handled such an adverse situation that never should have occurred in the first place. I and the Muslim Legal Fund of America are honored to file this lawsuit, and we are honored to represent South Florida Muslim Federation. Thank you. And back over.
Do you have any questions?
Can we start just with you repeating that last part about several people involved? That mic does no good for us. I need you to stand as close to the podium of mics right here as possible, because with all the echoing, we can barely hear.
Yeah.
So just speak up, and if you can repeat that part about there being a lot of people allegedly involved in all of this. Thank you.
The most egregious part of what happened here, and that's described in the lawsuit, is that it wasn't just one bad actor. It wasn't just one person who went rogue or took actions that nobody else approved of. These egregious acts took part because of a concerted effort by multiple individuals, including local officials, many of whom are elected. These elected officials were put in their positions by the community in order to serve the community, the entire community, and that includes South Florida Muslim Federation. That includes its members. Those local officials ignored their obligations. They turned their backs on members of this community. These officials and others named in the complaint participated in, encouraged, and even orchestrated the discriminatory acts that took place that were based on race, national origin, and religion, and discriminatory animus because of those. This community deserves better than that. We all do. Unfortunately, the law requires better. This lawsuit, filed by the Muslim Legal Fund of America and Mr. Shahade this morning, assures accountability for those who violate the law and assures that there will be remedies for those who are injured by those violations and harmed by discrimination based on their protected categories under the law, of their religion, their race, and their national origins. I am personally honored to represent South Florida Muslim Federation and its many members of the community. Muslim Legal Fund of America is honored to have its legal division file this lawsuit and to represent South Florida Muslim Federation. And we are honored to try to right these wrongs, try to correct or remedy the actions. We can't undo them, but we can hold those accountable who did the wrong, those who discriminated, and we can get remedies and show that they will not put up with this and that it's not acceptable in this community.
Really quick, can you just two things? Number one, just say your first and last name again and spell it,
Yes.
and then I have a question after you do that.
My name is Christina Jump, Christina, Jump, Jump.
And then your title.
Civil Litigation Department Head for the Legal Division of the Muslim Legal Fund of America.
Well, what exactly is this lawsuit asking for? Well, what is it that it's requesting, and why?
The lawsuit requests several things. The lawsuit requests, first of all, declaratory relief to declare that what happened is, in fact, a violation of the law. Injunctive relief to prevent local officials from being able to do this again. And monetary damages to remedy the harm that was caused in the past because of these actions, the injuries that were suffered, which also are to punish the wrongdoing.
Is there an amount, like a minimum amount for the monetary damages that you all are seeking?
At this time, there's not a specific dollar amount stated within the complaint. We plead under federal question jurisdiction, which is because these are federal laws. Therefore, we don't state a specific amount. Again, that will come as the lawsuit proceeds. More specifics will come forward, and in part, that will be
can I ask you a question as well? The president? Yeah. And one more time, just so we have it on tape, the spelling and first and last name and title. Get him
Follow the traffic laws. You can only talk
Yeah.
about the lights red.
Yeah.
So it's opposite. Samir Kaufman, SAMIRKAKLI, President of South Florida Muslim Federation.
So what have the last, this happened all the way back in January, this specific incident. What have the last couple of months been like for the Federation?
Last couple of months, we're actually planning for our next conference, next January. We're fighting forward. At the same time, like Christina J said, we can't just stand idle as to what, with regards to what happened in the past. We have to stand up, otherwise, who's to say this won't happen again, including our next conference.
So that
A lot
last
of things going on.
that last conference that was canceled, you guys ended up holding it, but somewhere else. What was that process like? Because it was almost like it had to be planned more under the radar because there was so much noise around it.
It's not only had to be planned under the radar, we had to redo everything, just about everything. I would say 70% of the work that I listed out to you, we had to do it again. New flyers, new posters, new speakers. Some of the speakers weren't available, new travel arrangements. So it was organized. We had organized an entire another conference. 6 months of work was pretty much wiped out.
Is it?
We had another 5 weeks to redo it. So we scrambled to redo it, but we were able to do it in a different way.
What was the last conference like?
It was successful. It wasn't up to the level which we would want it because of obvious challenges of planning. We missed getting some of the speakers, for example, that we had originally confirmed, but we were able to find backups, and we had 5,000 in attendance over 2 days. At the same time, as you said, we had to do it under the radar. We were actually, amazingly, to get our families and communities together, we couldn't even publicize it in the normal way. And this is just like, how sad is that? We had to keep a lot of the publicity on private channels within the community, WhatsApp groups, emails, things like that. We had to keep the location secret. We did not disclose the location publicly, except for people who bought tickets and whatnot. And that was really right before. So it was very challenging.
And I imagine it's got to be very difficult, according to the complaint, to be called pro-Hamas sympathizer or anti-Israel. How do you respond if those people happen to be listening to our reports? What would you say in response to those claims?
I'd be glad to respond to that. They're community members. These individuals are community members. There is absolutely nothing but discrimination, illusory allegations, assumptions, and illegal behavior that moves them at all in the horrific tropes alleged against them. It is a violation of the law. It is racist. It is discriminatory to assume that anyone who practices Islam must be a terrorist, that anyone who is of Arab descent or Asian descent must be a terrorist, that anyone who dresses a certain way, wears religious gear, must be a terrorist or a sympathizer. It is absolutely racist. It is absolutely against the law. That's what happened. I stepped here in front of them because, quite frankly, they don't need to answer that. It does not apply to them. They are community members like all the rest of the neighbors.
I would add something on that, which is no group needs to defend against tropes in order to be treated equally. It's just not required, and that's an absurd standard that doesn't apply to anyone.
Any other?
Can you step up and just tell me your first, last name, and spelling also?
My name is Jalal Shahada. It's spelled Jalal, last name Shahada, Shehadeh, and everybody calls me Jay.
Okay, and then your title.
I'm an attorney with Shahada Giacomo LLC, with Catherine Giacomo.
Okay, I mean, also from your perspective, what have the last couple of months been like?
I would say the last year has been very difficult for the communities. The last couple
clarify also the city's responsibility in all of this?
Yeah, and so it is outlined in the complaint, but essentially what happened is the Middle East Forum, which is a blatantly anti-Muslim organization, began to try to rally supporters for its cause of canceling this Muslim event. By the way, they will state what their position on their website and exactly who they are. The city of Parkland and under the mayor, I guess, fell for the arguments that the Middle East Forum was making. And so the mayor himself, Rich Walker, ended up taking it upon himself to try to get this event canceled. He met with the Marriott, he made multiple phone calls. He has hundreds of emails from community, from individuals in the community thanking him for getting the event canceled. So there was a direct involvement, which is also behind it.
How do you know that the mayor was that deeply involved?
Under Florida Sunshine Law, we got a public records request and we got a copy of every one of those emails. And he, by the way, I want you to know that at the end of this, he was taking a victory lap, and that he was happy that he was able to make this happen. And you can see that through the emails that we got through our public records request.
Unless there's anything else anybody wanted to add, our questions are complete.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for hanging up.
Marissa. We almost had another story.